Good morning, students. In chapter 9, part 1, already we studied about animal husbandry. Under animal husbandry, we studied about dairy farm management, poultry farm management, animal breeding. In animal breeding, we studied about inbreeding and outbreeding. Today, in this video, I am going to teach you artificial insemination, multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology, beekeeping and fisheries. While studying about inbreeding and outbreeding, always we used to say the word breeding. This breeding is done by controlled breeding experiments. It is not natural breeding, it is controlled breeding experiments. And these controlled breeding are carried out by using artificial insemination method. What is artificial insemination? Semen is collected from the male, which is chosen as a parent and injected into the reproductive tract of the selected female. The semen that is collected may be used immediately, or it can be frozen and used at a later date. And the semen can also be transported in a frozen form to where the female is housed. So in artificial insemination, first the semen is collected, injected into the reproductive tract of the female, and then the semen may be used immediately, or it can be frozen and it can be used at a later date, and it can also be transported in a frozen form to where the female is housed. This artificial insemination helps us to overcome several problems of normal mating between the cattle. There are many advantages of artificial insemination. Here, when we do artificial insemination in cattle, there is no need of maintenance of bull, because we can get the semen from any other bull. We need not maintain a bull for breeding. And also it prevents spread of diseases. In what way? Because whenever we get semen, we get from a healthy individual. And also it prevents sterility due to genital disease, because we get semen only from a healthy individual, and it prevents sterility also. Even though we conduct artificial insemination, often the success rate of crossing the male and the female to get hybrid is always very low. To improve chances of successful production of hybrids, other means are also used. There are many means. The most common is multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology program. What is multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology? Here, many ovums are formed, and then that embryo is transferred. Here in multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology, many ovums are formed, and the embryo is also transferred from one individual to another individual. Now we will study about this multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology in detail. See here, a cow is administered with a hormone FSH. The hormone has FSH like activity. This hormone is injected into the cow. Normally, cow, they produce only one ovum at a time. But when we administer this hormone, FSH like activity hormone, superovulation occurs, and it helps in follicular maturation and leads to superovulation. What is superovulation? 6 to 8 eggs are produced per cycle. Normally, a cow produces only one egg. Now, when we administer this hormone, 6 to 8 eggs are produced. So, this is superovulation. And then this cow is mated with an elite bull. What is the meaning of elite? Superior. A superior bull, or it is artificially inseminated. The semen is injected into the reproductive tract of the cow, and fertilization takes place inside the body of the cow, and then a zygote is formed, and the zygote, it divides mitotically, and at 8 to 32 cell stage, the zygote is removed from the cow non-surgically. They won't conduct surgery. Non-surgically, the embryo with 8 to 32 cell stage is removed, and it is transferred to another cow. That cow is called surrogate mother. In Tamil, Vadagai Thai. Because fertilization will not take place inside the body of surrogate mothers, but only the development of the embryo takes place inside the uterus of the surrogate mothers. Now, the genetic mother is free because development will take place only in surrogate mothers, not in the genetic mother. So, now the genetic mother is free, and the genetic mother is ready for another round of superovulation. Again, they inject hormone with FSH like activity, and it will produce 6 to 8 eggs. And again, these eggs, this super cow will be mated with the elite bull, and then fertilization takes place, and then it will be removed, and it will be the embryo will be transferred into surrogate mothers. So, in this case, in this multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology, within a short time, the herd size increases. Number of cattle increases within short time. And here this multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology is practiced in cattle, sheep, rabbits, buffaloes, mares, etc. Here we consider a super female. Which cow is considered as a super female? A cow that gives more milk. High milk yielding cow is considered as a super female, and then they take male which gives high quality meat. High quality meat means lean meat. Meat with less lipid is considered as high quality meat. So, in this way, the multiple ovulation transfer technology program is conducted, and within a short time, we can increase the size of the herd. Our next topic is beekeeping. Beekeeping also comes under animal husbandry. This beekeeping is also known as apiculture. What is apiculture? It's the maintenance of hives of honeybees for the production of honey. Maintenance of hives of honeybees for the production of honey. Honey is a food of high nutritive value. It contains many nutrients. Honey contains many nutrients, and honey is used in indigenous system of medicine. And also we get beeswax from the beehives, and this beeswax is used in preparation of cosmetics and also in preparation of polishes of various kinds. Due to demand, apiculture has become an income generating industry. So beekeeping can be practiced in wild shrubs, fruit orchards, and cultivated crops. Many species of bees are reared. The most common species is Apis indica. In your 9th standard, you studied about many species of honeybees. Apis mellifera, Apis floridae, Apis dorsata. Do you remember? And also Apis indica. It is the common species. And we can keep beehives even in our house, in veranda of our house, in the courtyard of our house, even on the roofs of our houses. And the apiculture is not labor intensive. No need of laborers to take care of the honeybees, to maintain the beehives. No labors are required. Even though it is easy method, we should have some knowledge about beekeeping. Then only we can get more honey and more wax. We should have knowledge of the nature and habits of bees. Their nature and also their habits we should know. And we have to select a suitable location for the beehives. We have to select a best location for keeping the beehives. And also we should know how to catch and how to hive the bees. And also we should know how to manage the beehives during different seasons. And also we should know how to handle and how to collect honey and bee wax. And then these honey bees are very good pollinators. They pollinate plants like brassica, sunflower, apple, and pear. What is brassica? Brassica includes cabbage and mustard plants. And it is very advantageous to keep beehives near crop fields during flowering season. It increases pollination and also it improves the yield of honey and as well as the yield of crops. So even though it is a very easy process, apiculture is very easy process, but we should have knowledge about all these things. Then only we can get more honey and wax. Next, shall we move on to fisheries? Fishery is an industry devoted to the catching, processing, and selling of fish, shellfish, or other aquatic animals like prawns, crabs, lobsters, and edible oysters. Some fishes, they live in fresh water like in ponds, lakes, streams, etc. Examples for freshwater fishes are catla, rohu, and common carp. Some fishes, they live in sea, that is in salt water. They are known as marine fishes. The common marine fishes are hilsa, sardine, mackerel, and pamphlets. And the fisheries play an important role in Indian economy. It provides income and employment to millions of fishermen and farmers, particularly in the coastal states. For many people, it is the only source of their livelihood. In order to meet the increasing demands on fisheries, different techniques have been employed to increase production. For example, aquaculture and pisciculture. Due to aquaculture and pisciculture, the production of aquatic plants and animals increases. This aquaculture and pisciculture has led to the development and flourishing of the fishery industry, and it has brought a lot of income to the farmers in particularly and the country in general. And the increase in production of fishes is known as Blue Revolution. You know what is Green Revolution? Green Revolution is increase in the production of cereals, especially wheat. Here Blue Revolution is the increase in production of fishes in the mid 1960s. So what is Blue Revolution? Intense growth in the worldwide aquaculture industry from the mid 1960 to present time. And also active culturing of aquatic animals and plants is also known as Blue Revolution. With this, we have completed animal husbandry. In next video, we will study about plant breeding. Thank you, students.